I wasn't supposed to be home that early, but a server failure at the office had forced us all to leave, and by 5:40 p.m. I was pulling into my quiet Cedar Grove neighborhood, only to see something that froze me in place. A moving truck, parked directly in front of my house, with two men carrying boxes out of my garage. For a full 10 seconds I couldn't breathe. My mind refused to process what my eyes saw. My wife, Lena, the woman I'd shared 10 years, 2 children, and a life with, stood on the driveway supervising the movers. She wasn't crying. She wasn't stressed. She looked calm, determined, as if she'd been planning this moment for a long time. And then I noticed something else. My children, Noah, 8, and Sophie, 6, stood beside her holding backpacks, jackets, stuffed toys, like they'd been told they were going on a trip, like they weren't coming back. I stepped out of the car slowly, cautiously, as if any sudden movement would make the scene collapse into dust. "Lena," I said, my voice barely steady. "What's going on?" She flinched, but only for a second. I watched her force her expression back into that eerie calm. "We're leaving, Ethan," she said. It's better this way." Leaving. The word detonated inside me like a bomb. The movers didn't stop. Boxes kept moving. My daughter clutched her stuffed unicorn tighter. My son avoided my eyes. I took a step closer. "Where are you taking the kids?" She hesitated. And that's when I saw it, fear. Not of me, of something else. Someone else. A shadow behind her eyes. Before she could answer, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I looked down. A message from my coworker, Daniel, who'd texted me earlier saying he needed to talk about something urgent. I hadn't had time to read it then. Now I opened it. It was a photo of Lena, kissing another man outside the Regal Crest Hotel. My stomach collapsed. Daniel's message followed. "Ethan, you need to get here now. I found something else. Something bad. It's not just an affair. Call me." I lifted my eyes back to my wife. But now another car was speeding down the road toward us. A black BMW, tinted windows, too sleek, too intentional. It screeched to a stop right behind the moving truck. The driver stepped out. Tall, expensive suit, cold smile. I didn't know him, but Lena did. Her face drained of all color. "Lena?" I whispered. "Who is that?" She didn't answer. The man walked toward her with the confidence of someone who owned every inch of the world beneath his feet. "Everything ready?" he asked her, not looking at me, not even acknowledging me. My wife nodded, trembling. "No," I snapped, stepping between them. "Someone tell me what the hell is happening." The man finally looked at me and smiled. "Mr. Carter," he said, "you're earlier than expected." He knew my name. I didn't know his. Before I could react, before I could take a breath, my phone buzzed again. This time a call from Daniel. I answered. His voice was shaking. "Ethan, listen to me. That guy with your wife, his name is Victor Hale, CEO of Hale Corp. He's under federal investigation. I think Lena's involved. Ethan, she's been receiving money. A lot of it. Secret accounts. Transfers. Disappearing funds. Ethan, she's in deep." A horn blared loudly as the moving truck started backing up. Lena grabbed Noah and Sophie by their wrists, pulling them toward the BMW. I lunged forward instinctively. "Lena!" But Victor stepped in front of me. "Your wife has made her decision," he said quietly. "It's best you don't interfere." Interfere? With my own children? Something inside me snapped so violently it felt physical. I didn't care who he was. I didn't care about the money. I didn't care about the hotel photos. I didn't care about the investigation Daniel hinted at. All I cared about were my kids. I pushed forward, yelling for Noah and Sophie, but 2 security men stepped out of the BMW, blocking me. Sophie began to cry. Noah shouted, "Dad!" Lena's mask cracked for a moment. Raw guilt flashed across her face. "Ethan, please," she said. "Don't make this harder." Harder? My world was falling apart at lightspeed. And then, a siren pierced the air. A police cruiser turned onto our street. Behind it, another car. And out of that car stepped a woman in a Navy business suit, holding a badge around her neck. My sister, Detective Hannah Carter. Her expression when she saw the scene. Lena, the children, the movers, the stranger, shifted instantly from confusion to alertness. She put a hand on her firearm. "What's going on here?" she demanded. Victor Hale's calm expression finally faltered. And that's when I realized I wasn't just fighting for my marriage. I was fighting against something far bigger, much darker, and far more dangerous than an affair. This wasn't personal. This was a takeover of my family, of my life, of everything I believed was safe. And I was already in the middle of it. Hannah didn't waste a second. Her hand hovered near her holster as she swept her eyes over the scene. The moving truck, the hired muscle, my wife clutching our terrified kids, and Victor Hale standing like a king surveying his property. "Everyone stay exactly where you are," she ordered, her voice sharp enough to cut steel. "Nobody moves until I know what the hell is happening." Victor's jaw twitched, the first sign he didn't like losing control. "Hannah," I said, forcing the words out past the adrenaline choking my throat. "They're trying to take the kids." She turned fully toward Lena. "Is that true?" Lena swallowed hard. I'm taking them somewhere safe." Safe. The word made my skin crawl. Safe from what? Hannah pressed. Lena's lips trembled. Her eyes darted toward Victor, as if seeking silent permission. He stepped forward. "Detective Carter, this is a family matter. I'm sure you understand." "No." She cut him off coldly. "I don't understand anything. Start talking." Victor lifted an eyebrow, his expression a perfect blend of arrogance and amusement. The look of a man who believed he owned the room, the street, the police, the city. My sister was not impressed. "ID?" she demanded. Victor sighed dramatically, then slowly reached into his jacket. Not for a wallet, but for a silver card. Sleek, minimalist, expensive. "Hale Corp Executive Identification," he announced, offering it. Hannah didn't take it. "My department doesn't accept corporate business cards as legal identification." For the first time, his confidence cracked. Before he could respond, my phone vibrated again. Daniel calling. I stepped away from the chaos to answer. "Ethan?" he said, breathless, panicked, typing loudly in the background. I dug deeper into those transfers. "You need to listen to me very carefully." "I'm listening." "Your wife didn't just get money. She was listed as an authorized recipient for a Hale Corp shell account, one tied to international consulting payments. But none of it makes sense. She doesn't consult. She's not on any project. This isn't a mistress payment. It's a..." He hesitated. "It's a laundering channel." My brain stuttered. "What?" "Money laundering, Ethan. Structured monthly transfers. Concealed ledgers. Offshore pass-through accounts. She's either in on it or being used as a front." I staggered back a step. "Daniel, why her?" He didn't answer for several seconds. Then quietly, "That's what scares me." I froze, because deep in my gut, I already knew the truth. Lena wasn't capable of building a crime network, but she was vulnerable to someone who needed a clean, stable, unsuspecting spouse to funnel money through. Someone powerful enough to manipulate her. Someone like Hale. Back in the driveway, Hannah's patience snapped. "I need to speak to those children," she ordered, pointing at Sophie and Noah. Victor stepped in front of her. "You will not question anyone without an attorney present." Hannah stared at him like he was a malfunctioning streetlight. "Are you blocking a police officer from speaking to minors?" Victor didn't flinch. "I am protecting this family from rash decisions." "This isn't your family," Hannah fired back. He smiled slightly. "That's where you're wrong." My skin turned to ice. Before I could react, the second police cruiser arrived. And behind it, another black car pulled up. A dark sedan with tinted windows. The back door opened, and a woman stepped out. Elegant, controlled, wearing a tailored charcoal gray suit and heels sharp enough to cut glass. She walked with quiet authority, like someone who expected everyone to know her before she even spoke. Lena went white. Victor stiffened. Hannah narrowed her eyes. And you are? The woman smiled politely. My name is Alexandra Hale, she said. Victor's wife. Wife. The ground tilted under me. Victor's wife approached my children first, crouching just enough to appear gentle. Noah, sweetheart, she said softly. Why don't you and your sister stand with me? Lena's breath hitched. No, Alexandra, please. This wasn't. Silence, Alexandra said gently, and Lena obeyed. Hannah stepped between them instantly. Nobody touches these children. Alexandra rose slowly, gracefully, dangerously. Detective Carter, I respect your authority, she said calmly, but you're interfering in something you don't understand. I understand a man tried to take 2 minors without legal permission. And I understand, Alexandra countered, that your brother's wife has been receiving illegal funds tied to a federal investigation. Funds she accessed through your brother's home network. That places this entire household under scrutiny, including the children. My blood ran cold. How do you know what I access at home? I demanded. She smiled without answering. Hannah stepped closer to Alexandra, lowering her voice. What exactly is your interest in these children? Alexandra tilted her head. Interest? None. Responsibility? Unfortunately, yes. Hannah's hand moved closer to her holster. Explain. Now. Alexandra's expression finally cracked, revealing something that chilled me deeper than anything Victor had done. Regret. Real regret. You should have received the email by now, she told me softly. Your coworker likely forwarded the first part already. My phone chimed. A new email. Subject line, urgent, Ethan, you need to see this. I opened it. A video file. Lena, 6 months ago. In an office I didn't recognize. Crying. Terrified. Begging. And across the desk, Alexandra Hale. Not Victor. Alexandra. Her voice in the video was unmistakably calm and controlled. If you want your children safe, you will do exactly what I tell you. I froze. My vision blurred. The world tilted like a collapsing house of cards. Lena wasn't running away with Victor. She was being moved by Alexandra. Used, controlled, blackmailed, and I finally understood the truth. This wasn't a love affair. This wasn't a betrayal of passion. This wasn't even about money. This was a trap. A carefully engineered trap around my wife, my home, my children, and I was already inside it. Alexandra took one slow step toward me. It's time we talked, Ethan, she said softly, because your family is no longer just in danger. She held my gaze. Your family is now leverage. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Not Hannah, not Lena, not even Victor. It was Alexandra who finally broke the silence, clasping her hands in front of her as if she were presiding over a board meeting, not detonating the remains of my life. Ethan, she said gently, come with me. We need to speak privately. No, Hannah snapped, stepping in front of me. He's not going anywhere with you. But Alexandra didn't look at her. She looked only at me. You've already seen the video, she continued softly. You know your wife didn't act alone. You know she wasn't the architect of this. You know there are things she never told you. My chest tightened, because she was right. Even before the affair, before any of this, Lena had been hiding something. A weight behind her eyes, a tension in her shoulders, a secret I never pushed hard enough to uncover. Now I knew why. She'd been terrified. No more games, I said. Tell me what you did to her. Alexandra's smile was faint, almost sad. Everything I did for Hale Corp, and to protect my family, just as you would protect yours. The hell you did, Hannah growled, but Alexandra didn't respond to her. She kept her gaze locked onto mine. Steady, direct, unflinching. Ethan, she said, your wife has been in danger for far longer than you realize, not from Victor. She cast a brief, cold glance at her husband. He's merely the bait, the distraction. Victor didn't deny it. I felt my stomach twist. So what does Lena have to do with you? I demanded. Alexandra took a slow breath, as though deciding how much truth to reveal. Your wife was targeted, she said. Selected. Because of you. The air left my lungs. What are you talking about? She nodded slightly toward the house behind me. Your position in Carter Systems. Your access. Your clearance. You handle the cybersecurity integrations for half the corporations in this state, including Hale Corp. My mind reeled backward. The servers, the firewalls, the encrypted back-end architecture. Everything I'd assumed was routine work. You needed access, I whispered. And I had it. Alexandra smiled with genuine approval. Yes, and while you were far too ethical to be manipulated. She paused, glancing at Lena. Your wife was not. Lena covered her mouth with her trembling hands. That's not fair, she whispered. You told me. Alexandra raised a hand, and Lena fell silent instantly. Not fear. Conditioning. My sister saw it too. That's coercion, Hannah snapped. You're admitting to a felony. Alexandra simply tilted her head. Detective, you assume the justice system applies equally to all of us. Then she focused back on me. 6 months ago, she continued, your wife made a small mistake, one tiny oversight, enough for me to leverage, enough to force her to comply. Lena's face broke. Ethan, I tried to tell you, she sobbed. She said she'd expose everything. She said she'd ruin our family. I didn't know what else to do. What oversight? I asked. Lena didn't answer. She couldn't. Alexandra did. A sealed juvenile record, she said. Expunged, but not erased in every database. Something she never told you. Something that would cost her custody in any divorce court, unless the right people intervened. Lena collapsed to her knees. I stared at her, stunned, shattered, unable to reconcile this broken woman with the wife I thought I knew. Hannah knelt beside her. Lena, she said gently, whatever happened, we can protect you now. You're not alone anymore. But Lena shook her head. You don't understand, she whispered. She doesn't need the law. She has people everywhere. Banks, agencies, courts. She said if I didn't cooperate, she'd make sure Noah and Sophie were taken. Her voice cracked, and I believed her. My pulse hammered in my skull. I lunged forward. You threatened my kids? Alexandra didn't flinch. I warned your wife what would happen if she didn't comply. There is a difference. No, I growled, fists shaking. There's not. Victor finally spoke. Alexandra, he said quietly. They've seen too much. She smiled faintly. Yes, unfortunately. Hannah stepped in front of me, drawing her weapon. That's enough, she ordered. Hale, you're both detained until we have clarity. Move, and I swear Alexandra raised a hand. Hannah froze mid-sentence. It wasn't a physical threat. It was the look in Alexandra's eyes. Cold, calculating, and completely fearless. Detective Carter, she said softly. You're in no position to detain anyone. Your brother's home network was compromised 2 months ago. Every login, every file, every personal account. All accessed, including your emails. Hannah stiffened. Alexandra continued. I know your ongoing investigation, the one involving your partner, the one you've hidden from internal affairs. Hannah's face drained of color, as if Alexandra had slapped her. I grabbed my sister's arm. What is she talking about? Hannah swallowed hard. Ethan, not now. Alexandra took a slow step closer. You should have accepted my offer, detective, she murmured. But now, I'm afraid your entire career is on the line. That was it. I'd heard enough. I stepped in front of Hannah, facing Alexandra head-on. You're not taking my children, I said. You're not using my wife anymore. And you're not destroying my sister. Alexandra studied me for a long, quiet moment. Then she spoke. No, Ethan, I'm not. A breath of relief escaped me, until she added, because someone else will. I froze. What? Alexandra slowly lifted her eyes toward the far end of the street. A black SUV was turning the corner. Then another. And another. 4 vehicles in total. No plates. No markings. No hesitation. Hannah's grip tightened on her gun. "Ethan," she whispered. "Get behind me. Now." The SUVs stopped in perfect formation. The back doors opened. Men stepped out. All in black, moving with coordinated precision. Victor went pale. Lena gasped. Alexandra only sighed. "Right on schedule," she said. "Who are they?" I demanded. Alexandra finally gave the first honest answer of the night. "The people investigating me," she said. "The people who want my husband gone. The people who believe your wife knows too much." She paused. "And the people who believe you, Ethan Carter, have become a liability." The men began walking toward us. Slow, purposeful, without a word. And that's when everything descended into chaos. The armed men spread out across the street with unnerving precision. No shouting, no warnings, just silent, calculated movement. Hannah pushed me back behind her. "Everyone get inside the house now." But Alexandra raised her hand calmly. "No, running will escalate them. They're not here to negotiate." Victor grabbed Alexandra's arm. "You said we had more time." "We did," she replied, "until your incompetence shortened it." The men advanced. One lifted a radio to his mouth. "Targets located. Proceeding." Targets. Plural. My stomach dropped. Lena grabbed the kids and stumbled toward me, shaking uncontrollably. "Ethan, please, don't let them take Noah and Sophie. Please." This wasn't a woman fleeing with another man. This was someone who finally saw the trap closing. Hannah didn't wait. She aimed at the nearest man. "Police!" Hands in the air. No reaction. Not one flinch. I realized then, these weren't normal operatives. They weren't afraid of badges, laws, or consequences. Alexandra leaned toward Hannah with an almost bored expression. "They don't care who you are. Their orders are simple." "Which are?" Hannah spat. Alexandra met my eyes. "To erase liabilities." The nearest operative lifted a tranquilizer gun. Sleek, black, and silent. "No!" I shouted as he fired. But the dart wasn't aimed at me. It hit Victor. He collapsed instantly. 2 men caught him before he hit the pavement and dragged him toward one of the SUVs. Alexandra didn't even blink. "He's the easiest piece to remove," she murmured. "He knows too much and understands too little." The men turned toward us next. Time slowed. Everything in me focused on one thing. Noah and Sophie behind my legs, crying softly. I felt something inside me click into place. Fear evaporated. Instinct took over. I grabbed Lena's hand with one hand, my children with the other. "Hannah, smoke protocol?" She didn't hesitate. She tossed her keys toward me. "Garage. Emergency kit. Go." I sprinted toward the house in the chaos as Hannah fired a warning shot to slow the operatives. Alexandra stepped back, finally losing her calm posture. Inside the garage, I yanked open the emergency storage box Hannah had installed months ago. "Just in case," she'd said. Inside, 3 smoke flares, flash deterrents, an old bulletproof vest. I pulled it on, threw 2 flares at Lena. "Run to the backyard when it fills." The operatives stormed into the garage doorway. I ignited the first flare. Thick white smoke burst into the air, swallowing the garage in seconds. Through the smoke, I heard men coughing, stumbling, radios crackling with confusion. I grabbed both kids, grabbed Lena by the wrist, and pushed through the back door. We escaped into the yard just as Hannah's police backup arrived at the front, sirens blaring, lights flooding the street. The operatives retreated quickly, too quickly, as if extraction was more important than confrontation. Within a minute, the SUVs were gone. Victor gone. Alexandra gone. Just smoke, chaos, and police everywhere. Hannah ran toward us through the yard gate, breathless. "You okay? All of you?" The children sobbed but nodded. Lena collapsed into the grass, shaking violently. I held them all. It was over. At least this phase.